and hurts, but I'm just trying not to focus on the pain and exhaustion and just and by that I mean not exactly this movement, but just mobility work in general. Hello, all back in the gym. I haven't been putting out videos in my regular schedule, mostly because I've also been doing a lot of outdoor runs. And when I do outdoor runs, I don't really know how to make a video of it. Plus, I'm focused on running and don't really want to record it. I'm usually listening to music, kind of zoned out, and just running to run. Uh, my longest run so far has been 10K, or I think that's about 6.5 or 7 miles or something like that. Um, and yesterday I did 4.5 miles, which I believe is a little over 5K or something like that. There's this hill near where I live, and going up and down that is approximately half a mile, and so I just kept doing that till I hit 4.5 miles. And so that's stuff like that is pretty much what I've been doing on days that I don't put out videos. In any case, today, back in the gym, uh, for the first part of the workout, I'm doing sled and kettlebell based cardio through circuits. So the reason for not really stopping and doing an intro was because I was kind of in a groove and I didn't want to get out of that groove to explain what I was. And I was planning on recording multiple sets of my first circuit anyway. So essentially what I'm doing is reverse sled drag and forward sled push, then farmer carry. Dang it, I think I made a mistake. I think I switched hands at the end and I wasn't supposed to. So I'm just gonna walk forward and then switch hands. So essentially what I wanted to do was farmer carry, one way back and forth, and then switch hands and then do it again. But I switched hands prematurely, and so now I'm doing it in whatever order to even it out. And then for the final movement, doing double kettlebell clean and press for 10 reps. Using two 35-pound kettlebells. So this is my 6th set. For the first 5 sets, I used two 25-pound kettlebells and just upping the difficulty for the next half. It's Sunday night and we're in daylight saving time, and the clock went an hour ahead, and it's really annoying. It felt like the day went by a lot faster, and I like having weekends. They should move the hour ahead on at 5 p.m. on a work day, or 3 p.m. or whatever, so that we have shorter weekdays instead of having it on a weekend and having a shorter weekend. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. So as you can notice, I didn't take any rest between exercises or sets. Uh, I'm not going overly heavy on any movement, like 62 pounds with the kettlebell on a farmer walk isn't that heavy for me. 2 plates on the sled isn't that heavy for me, and two 35-pound kettlebells on the uh, clean and press isn't that heavy either. But pair them all together for 10 sets, and then it becomes quite the ordeal. My plan today is to do these 10 sets, burn a lot of calories, then move into some bodybuilding-esque work, then some mobility and abs, then hit the sauna. That's the plan currently, but subject to change if anything were to happen. Ever since starting running frequently, I mean, it's only been 4 runs that I've done so far. I've noticed my body changing quite a bit. Like my abs are getting a lot tighter, so it feels like I'm on my way. At least, like, it feels like I'm on my way to achieving my goal of being shredded this summer. And so that's a good feeling. And I, like, I hate running. I used to run a lot. And I mean, every run I used to hate. But it's important, I think, to do things you hate every once in a while. Helps build some character. This is set 8. A lot of core at play with these single arm farmer walks. And then the clean and presses. All of this is quite exhausting and hurts, but I'm just trying not to focus on the pain and exhaustion and just robotically move from station to station. I'll just record the last two as well. I don't really feel like stopping, taking the camera off from recording, and then going back into things. Excuse me? So like the handles come off. So if you want to switch sides, you can do that. Set 4. Head. But at this weight, at this weight of the double kettlebells, I've stayed on the same weight for all the other stuff. Alright. My heart rate's at like 170. Last set of this crap before I move into something else. I would talk more, but I'm really exhausted. And when I'm exhausted, it's really hard to formulate coherent thoughts that make sense. Oh, sorry. Oh man. Alright, final set. Alright, that's that. Uh, that was 10 sets total, 5 sets with the 235-pound kettlebells. For the presses, the first 5 were with 225-pound kettlebells, which I didn't record. All that took about 30 minutes to complete. Now on to something more bodybuilding-esque, or at least that's what I'm thinking, but again, subject to change. The reason I say subject to change before I do things is because things often do change in the span of a few minutes in my head, and then I end up doing something completely different, or at least slightly different than what I initially thought I was going to do. So I ended up choosing to do alternate dumbbell presses with the 60-pound dumbbells. But I'm also going to incorporate the sled in this next set of movements. So it's not exactly bodybuilding, but yeah, we'll get to that when the time comes. So I don't do a whole lot of horizontal pressing. I do quite a bit of vertical pressing. So with kettlebells, there's a lot of movements where I'm using, yeah, I'm using that one. You can use the other one. Uh, so usually when I do presses, I'm doing vertical presses with either the kettlebell or some other thing, because I'm usually doing a lot of standing stuff. I don't do stuff often where I'm laying flat on my back. Uh, but in any case, doing alternate dumbbell presses for the first part of this circuit. And also, I guess circuit is the wrong terminology this time. The first 10 were circuits, since I wasn't doing like a whole lot of rest or whatever. This is more like a giant set, encompassing a lot of body parts. So, doing alternate single arm dumbbell presses flat, doing 8. After 8 each side of that, putting 2 10-pound kettlebells around my feet for the second movement, and laying back and doing alternate knee raises for 8. So targeting some abs and hip flexors. And then for the sled movement, I'm doing alternate single arm sled rows. So uh, targeting the lats mainly. If you've never done sled rows, definitely try them out. I really quite like the stretch and contraction that I get in my lats while doing this move. And after I get to one side, doing a reverse sled push. A real burner on the quads. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for now. That was my fourth set. I'm going to do one more before I move into something else. So moving into some mobility and abs. So doing like essentially spine and hamstring mobility, like posterior chain. So I have a 35-pound kettlebell on the floor, and I'm not really setting a rep range. I'm kind of just doing a few things, and I'll just, I guess, talk as to what I'm doing. There's no particular structure. I'm kind of just going by feel. So first, I'm getting the weight up, then slowly uh, rounding my spine. It sounds cliche, but one vertebrae at a time, and then trying to keep my knees as straight as possible, and just really kind of letting the weight slowly pull me down. I'm trying to keep my ears uh in line with my arms. And then if I can't touch the floor, I bend my knees ever so slightly and try to get there and then come up. Then on the I'm gonna do that like one or two more times. Then another thing I can do when I'm at the bottom is, so I'll again keep going till the kettlebell hits the bottom. Then I'll sit down and kind of exaggerate like that stretch of the back into the hips. Come back up. Maybe bounce around. Go back down. Working on a little bit of like hip hinge mobility and just like all the muscles that are interconnected in that area. Then another thing that I'm doing is single arm Jeffersons. So instead of going down with both arms at the same time, and this helps like kind of isolate lack of mobility on one side versus the other. So my knees aren't perfectly straight, but my goal is to keep them perfectly straight. Yeah, I'll be there. So alternating like that. Then another thing that I've been doing is going into a Jefferson, single-handed, then at the bottom, hinge, kind of put the other arm back and rotate into it, come back and come up, switch hands and repeat. A mixture of all of these kind of hits various aspects of posterior chain and posterior chain mobility across a bunch of different muscle groups. And I don't know, at least me personally, ever since like incorporating these, like not even super regularly, but like at least maybe once or twice, kind of once a week, has shown like just a lot more, has led me to feel a lot more confident in how my body works in awkward positions. And by that I mean not exactly this movement, but just mobility work in general. Oh. And after that, after feeling kind of exhausted with all those movements, doing curled toe to bars. Getting some abs in. So yeah, that's going to be it for the workout. I'm going to head into the sauna and do some mobility and stuff there too. Probably going to take a 10-pound kettlebell and just do some abs and some hip flexor stretches. But yeah, that's probably it for today's video. Tomorrow's Monday. Back to work weekdays. Yeah, see you all tomorrow.